I've returned. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and yeah, we're discussing the NBA Finals. We're previewing it because, well, it's about 2 days away, and I was just kind of waiting on to see the news of if Porzingis will play Game One, and it looks like, by what I have seen and what ESPN has posted, that he will. He expects to play. First time he's played, I think, pretty much the entire playoffs, maybe a little bit, but it's been a while. Let's just say so. But it'll be a very important part of this series if he plays. Let me set this up a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this series, if you're a Celtics fan, you probably never watched one of my videos. If you're a Mavericks fan, you've probably been here once before. You have seen me yell at the Mavericks. You've seen me be very frustrated with them. You see me taunt them. You see me be very, let's just say, a lot of emotions have involved with this Mavericks team because I'm a Thunder fan, and I'm very confident that we're going to beat them. And it backfired. I was very confident Timbers were going to beat them, and that led to my facial hair going away. So this team has done me a lot of bad, and I will continue hating and talking bad about the Mavericks. And I'm relying on the Celtics to keep that from happening, keep me from looking like a complete idiot again. But the problem is, I'm not a Celtics fan. I'm a white guy from the South. You might expect me to be a Celtics fan, but I'm not. It's just because I'm white, isn't it? Wow. Really? Thanks. Okay, so the Celtics, I've never been a fan of. I just haven't. I don't like how much Tatum complains. Jaylen Brown is kind of cool. He's a nice player. I've just never been a huge fan. They've been owned by Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler, so I'd root for him. But I feel like they very much complain. Celtics fans are kind of annoying at this point. They're kind of like 49ers fans for NFL. It's been a while since they've actually won, but it seems like they've won a lot more recently than they have. Like 49ers, they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995, but it seems like they would have by this point. Celtics haven't won a title since '08, since I was 1. It's been a minute, but it's been better than a lot of other teams. But we'll just get to the preview. Luka, Kyrie, main two guys, of course, for the Mavericks. Porzingis being back will be a difference. I think he has better lateral movement than Gobert does. I think he has better defense than Cat does. Main thing about Cat is he just likes to foul. If Cat could control his fouling, he'd be so much of a better defender. And they're definitely better than what the Thunder were doing when it comes to this. Because Thunder, what they would do is they would just hedge the ball screen, pretty much, double whoever has a ball, and leave that corner wide open. Which is better than what the Timberwolves did, I would say so, since Gobert would do both. Gobert would allow the paint up and the corner, which is very impressive for a guy who's 7'2", who's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, to allow at least 3 options open: the lob, the guard, and the corner. Very impressive. Just very terrible, though. That's how they lost the series. But they left the corner open, which led to guys like P.J. Washington becoming a household name by playoff watchers, and Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. was very big in multiple games against the Thunder, some games against the Timberwolves. He's just a really good corner shooter, and he improves on that a lot from his career starting, I think, in the Suns to now. He's improved a lot, which shout out to him. P.J. Washington's similar. He's always been a decently good shooter, but he never found his role perfectly. I think until that Thunder series, he had a corner, and he shot from it. That left corner, he just couldn't miss from. It's like, oh my gosh, please. He never did, though, which was very annoying. Check out my past stuff to see all that. But how I felt about it, I should say. But Kyrie's going to be the main guy situation. If they have Drew Holiday guard him, which I'd be kind of... It's either Drew Holiday is going to either guard Luka or Kyrie. I'd preferably put him on Luka, but I could definitely see Kyrie. If you put him on Kyrie, got to play physical from the start. Kyrie's more the facilitator in the first half. He's become more of a scorer against Timberwolves, but I bet the series is going to be kind of more like the Thunder in a way. You know what I mean? They have very much intense defenders. They have length. They have a bit. Paint, they might be able to attack since Porzingis is now coming back. Horford's the other guy there is a 36-year-old man, 38-year-old man. And you got a lot of very young centers who can jump high and all that. So that can kind of be the same way for the Thunder. With Thunder had Chet and no one else that could guard the paint consistently. So it's kind of like, okay, let's attack that. Kyrie the facilitator. Because Kyrie was great to get involved in the corner. Everything ran well. I feel like it was more tough guarding the Mavericks without when Luka was out and Kyrie was in, rather than both of them being on the floor. Because Kyrie, just as a jump shooter, just that alone, takes away a lot of his main skills. Kyrie is a great finisher, great facilitator, great playmaker overall, rather than just a great shooter. He's a great shooter, but he doesn't get his full skill set whenever Luka's out there. But Kyrie's that's a facilitator, then he takes over in the second half when he really needs to. Luka can do both. Great facilitator, great everything. And whenever I think Game 5 was a change against OKC. Game 5 was a change. Luka stopped complaining. He shut up and just played. And he played the best game of the series then. Game 6, he kind of complained. That's one of the reasons I think he had 7 turnovers. He tried to force some things, tried to draw some fouls. He had a tech. Didn't go for him. Luckily enough for them, Kyrie and them took over in the fourth. Just brushed my Thunder and beat them. Very annoying, but very upsetting, but it happened. Luka didn't play a great game. Every game against the Timberwolves, he played very good, I felt like. Drop coverage was terrible. It was granted because, again, Gobert let 3 people open at once. It's incredible. How does that happen? But he played great in pretty much every single game. I'm interested to see how this depth's going to do for both teams. Celtics, you have guys like Derek White. You have guys that have just been great these playoffs. Drew Holiday's a great experienced player in the playoffs. He's been in the finals before. He's been here with the Bucks before. He's been the main guy. Great job, great guy getting stops when you really need to. He got a lot of stops against Indiana. He got a lot of stops. I remember when he was on the Bucks. He's just a key guy. Whenever the game is going in a certain way, he can put on a player and say, guard him. That's why I think he's going to start off on Luka. Dort and Holiday are similar in a way that they can play up and play physical. I think Holiday's better at not fouling, though. Dort would foul, but he made sure the fouls were going to hurt. That's why he had his knee never could fully heal against the Thunder, because Dort would foul him, and you're falling if Dort fouled you, because he's a linebacker type of size. You're falling. Holiday, I don't think he's going to do that, but I think Holiday's better at just not fouling. That's the thing. So you have him. You have other defenders. Jaylen Brown's a good at a switch on. Derek White, he's arguably an all-star because of his defense, I could say. His scoring was pretty good, but his defense is his main thing. So you can rotate him out. I would put Derek White on Kyrie, because I think he's a very good on-ball defender, good at helping out. And since Kyrie's a good facilitator, Kyrie's a good facilitator, so he can rotate out if he needs to. And also, since sometimes you use Kyrie as a shooter, you can play off-ball. You can close out of the corners very well. Because if you drive in, you can kick out. You can rotate out there within a swing. He's already out there. He's very good at that. Tatum, defensively, you don't want to put him in a bad situation, so he'll probably be guarding the Derek Jones Jr.'s, the P.J. Washingtons of the world. So that'll be interesting to see how that's going to work. I think it'll be fun to see what they're going to put on Tatum as defensively. I think they're going to rotate a lot. You definitely don't want Luka guarding him. Kyrie's not bad, but a size difference can be a big thing. Only time we've seen Tatum in the finals, he did not play well against the Warriors at all. But Warriors had Andrew Wiggins, they had Draymond. They had a lot of similar-sized guys that were very athletic and could defend to a high level that also could produce, Andrew Wiggins especially, could produce well offensively. I think Gary Payton II was also big in that series too. Derek Jones Jr. and P.J. Washington will mainly have to guard him. If he ever, and they come off the bench, I think probably Al Horford, I would assume, coming off the bench in this one, since Porzingis is coming back, unless they do want to just rotate him. I think they could play similar minutes, but I would want Porzingis in, and then just, I guess, balance minutes, 28 for Porzingis, 20 for Horford type of thing, until he can get fully healthy. Lively will be a big thing. If Lively's neck is okay, which he should be by now, and if Timberwolves were dirty enough to hit him in the back of the head twice. Towns was accidental. Nas looked on purpose, in my opinion. But seeing how Horford can guard Lively is going to be interesting. Because Lively's a great lob threat. He started making his free throws. And he's overall a pretty good defender. Horford's usually a good, experienced defender. He's an experienced offensive player, too. He can hit the corner three as better than anyone else, any other big in the league, I would say. He can hit that thing very well. So you have that. Peyton Pritchard, I think, will be decent enough in this series. You're going to have some guys like him. Gafford for the Mavericks will be a big in this series. Again, how much can these athletic bigs that are quick and good rebounders mess up with this Celtics team? Porzingis, if he can extend the floor very well, will be a huge threat in this series. Porzingis being back, if he can play to the level he was playing before he got injured, will be huge in this series because he was able to make his shots. He was a good rebounder and could block his shots. It's Chet, but more physical and way more experience. So that's just way and taller. So, and they have problems with Chet. They did have problems with Chet. Whenever Chet was making his shots, we won. So whenever he didn't, we had problems. If Porzingis can keep hitting hit his shots to a 40% clip from three, series 35-40% clip from three, 50% overall, I think the Celtics should probably win the series in 5. I'll be honest. That is such an advantage for them. Was they have to step out with Lively, Gafford, Washington, whoever's on them, and leave that paint open for Brown to drive. And was Luka's got to guard probably either Tatum or Brown on a lot of possessions, just based off the situations. And then, even in those situations, Derek White can drive real well. Drew Holiday can. The paint will be open and Porzingis can hit his shots. And even if it's just a mid-range, it's open enough that you can't leave. So that puts a lot of people on islands. They've not been pushed that level yet. Only person I've seen them push that level was Shea. And Shea single-handedly cooked every single person that they put on him in ISO situations. Shea's probably arguably the best ISO player right now in the league at just making a shot. He's just unbelievable at that. But you still have a lot of pretty good guys in that situation. If you test all 4 of them defensively, that could be problems. Luka, again, his knee still hurts. He played solid defense, but if you hit that hard enough and you go at him, it might start to wear down over a series. Celtics have been very good at home, but they've also been very, very good on the road. They've not lost a road game yet, I don't believe, this series. They've beat Miami twice, beat Cleveland twice, beat Indiana twice. And people have been talking about, well, Boston hasn't played a tough part of this series. Haven't played a really tough series. Mavericks have played 3 50-plus win teams. I get that. That's something important. But let's not talk about the Celtics. But let's remember, Celtics have played 6 years in a row of very high-intense playoff basketball. This Tatum and Brown, his rookie year, had to play against a prime LeBron. They played against great Jimmy Butler teams. They've had to play against tough Sixers teams. They've had to play against Bucks teams. They've had to face really, really tough teams before. So it's not like this is the only series they've been in. And this was like the Knicks and the Celtics have not lost and they played the Cavs. And something like this happened. This is the first real big run, I would say, in the playoffs. Then yeah, I get that. But this is not the first time. They've played the Warriors. They've played teams that are very, very good. So the experience part of them having a tough playoff run this year, I don't think means as much as some people have been saying. Mavericks, you got to be able to hit your corner threes, which makes people have to respect out there. Again, who's ever make their corner threes and consistent rebounding the best will probably win the series. Tatum has to perform well. Tatum performance of what he's been doing so far. I don't think the Celtics have a big problem. Brown and Tatum play what they've done against Indiana. They should win this game. They should win this series, I should say. Mavericks, the way they win the series, play how you did in Game 5. Very good defensively. Luka and Kyrie score very well. They have the 2 best scoring games of their whole playoffs, I would say, in one game. And they beat that team by 30. Can they duplicate it? I might not think so. But granted, this team has surprised me very much before. I'm not going to say they can't do it, but I'm not saying all the scoring load has to come from those 2. PJ Washington, we've seen him get 20-plus points. Derek Jones Jr., he started off game 6 for 6. Jalen Hardy, he can hit shots. He's coming alive. Tim Hardaway Jr., when he's put in the game, he can make some. Maxi Kleber, he's come back. He's made some of a difference. Guys like that have to make a difference. They have to consistently, like if Kyrie gets 23 and he could have got 35 instead, instead of 35 he gets like 23. Kleber has to go for 8. Jones Jr. can go for 12 to 14. Hardy can go for 10, and that kind of makes up for that leftover point differential that kind of just fills in for that. Luka's got to play good, but I think the Celtics have a lot more offensive threats that can create their own shot. I think defensively they can rotate a bit better. This series will be played in Boston. I think Boston sometimes has a tendency to play down to their level of competition. But whenever they needed to, whenever they were down by enough, Indiana, against Cleveland, against Miami, whoever. Miami, they just took care of that. But against those 2 teams, they just went on a run. Just snapped. Whenever they needed to, they went on a run and just closed the game out. Like nothing. They've had plenty of games they've closed the game out. So they've been in close games. Luka and them have played in plenty of close games. I'm worried about his knee, though, because the physicality can be played by Jaylen Brown, who doesn't foul a lot. Drew Holiday doesn't foul a lot. Tatum complains about fouls, but he's an okay defender. Derek White doesn't foul a lot. These guys are experienced guys who do not foul good players. They're very experienced defenders. That's going to be a problem for Luka. I think Kyrie's got to initiate a lot of things. I think if Drew Holiday can play good defense on just one of them, Celtics should be able to take care of business. I think the Mavericks will have some games that they play very, very good in. I think the Celtics might have some down games. But I have a feeling still, I'm still rocking. I'm still not picking the Mavericks. I'm not picking the Mavericks. So we'll go Celtics in 6. Celtics in 6. I just think the Celtics have a lot of talent around them that can rise up defensively, I would say. Offensively, I know Dallas has stepped into that. But a lot of offensive threats, a lot of great corner shooting. I feel like this is just a Mavericks team, but just a bit better. Just a bit better than them for the role player situation again. Kristaps is not really a role player, but with Brown and Tatum outside of that, he's probably the 3rd or 4th best player, just scoring-wise. And he's coming back. If he can play to that level, which I think he can, if he can his corner threes, corner fruits from Horford and Porzingis, that will be huge. Because then they have to step out. Holiday and them can go in, or Brown, Tatum, all of them can go inside and just work from there out. Luka, the games Dallas lost, Luka had a lot of turnovers. If Boston can do one thing, they can force turnovers. That's one thing I'm interested to see. It's going to be fun to watch this series. It's going to be on Thursday. It's on ABC. Boston at home. They're bound to break through. That's kind of the main reason. They are bound to break through by this point. I got Boston in this series. I got them in 6. I can definitely see the Mavericks pushing to the 7. And what happens in the 7th game can happen in 7. I don't know. Both stadiums are going to be rocking, but home court advantage will make a difference. And I think they can probably steal that game 6 in Dallas. That's my opinion. I think it'll be a 2-2 series. Boston wins game 5. Kind of like what happened in the Warriors and Celtics series. Celtics and Warriors had a game going into, or like whatever, Oracle, whatever they have. It was a 2-2 series. Warriors won that game, and then they just continued that momentum and just went at them in Boston. I think it'll be kind of similar to that, but with Dallas in the situation, Drew Holiday will be the main defender on a lot of these guards, on Luka and Kyrie, which I think he can do. If Luka shoots inefficiently in some of these games, Boston will win. Luka will have to play very, very high tier consistently, which I think will be very tough with this type of defense. That's my opinion. I got Boston at 6. Put in the comments your opinions about this. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. I know it's a longer video, but it's a long preview because it's a long series. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, y'all, and God bless you.